I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Some politicians lacking brains said in voices dripping sweet, we don't really need these trains, railroads all are obsolete. They're union strong, it makes demands. They guard their yards with railroad dicks who kick our cops clean off their lands, do not like our politics. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. So the politicians passed some laws to screw more money off the trains and deeper dip their pudgy paws in more control of railroad gains. The railroad said, get off our land. They went on strike to show their peak. The grain trains stopped their rolling and the city starved within a week. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Hunger riots burned and rose and battered down the State House door, and all those fat politicos were killed and eaten by the poor. And with the city out of joint and no more politician men, the railroad said they'd prove their point and sent the grain trains down again. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains.
Good morning, Minecraft. How you doing? Wandering Beekeeper here. God damn, is it going to be a morning. First, the content warning. Content warning, I am inappropriate for all audiences. I'm an old queer man with 3 queer kids, 2 of them trans. I live in Olympia, Washington, where I can legally talk about weed. And as you've already fucking noticed, I cuss a lot. What in the hell? Something just popped up there. I didn't even see it. Okay, who gives a... It's, oh lordy, is there anything else to talk about right now for just a minute here? I mean, let's go over to the game screen and at least, pretend we're playing Minecraft, but okay. I'm a military veteran, and fuck my service, and if you'd started to say thank you, you're probably one of the people who voted in fascism after I tried to protect what I thought were the principles of democracy. So I'm a little disgusted with the general populace of the United States at this point, and have the credentials for the people who still think it means something to have to take me seriously when I criticize the government that I put my life on the line to defend. I was a fool. I was young. I learned better. So the United States has a long history of violent intervention in the governments of South America. But usually the U.S. is there to knock over the democratically elected leftist and install a right-wing dictator who will make sure that American capitalist interests are protected. You know, can't have those goddamn socialists come in. They'll nationalize the industry, and then where will our profits go? You know, it's a little weird to see the U.S. knocking over a right-wing dictator who wouldn't even publish the numbers on the last election. Just said, "Yeah, we won. Just trust us. We won." Yeah, no, I don't. Why would I trust somebody who says something like that? For fuck's sake. But I mean, going in and kicking somebody else's shit over is never the answer. Come on. Lord, I learned better. I mean, and at this point, you know, we're looking at a situation where, all right, what all did I get? We're looking at a situation where China can point to what we just did, and they've already got an encirclement going on Taiwan. They're ready to roll in. They were good. They go rolling in. That is going to cause a problem because, and then I saw this on the Fetty this morning, and I don't want to share the name for privacy reasons, but really hot take. You know, what happens there is since the AI bubble is still going, I get anything over here? I need to do a walkthrough of this mansion. Since the AI bubble is still going, it's dependent on the chip makers in Taiwan to build the data centers that have been promised. All those promises to build data centers are what drove the U.S. economy in 2025 and kept it out of recession. If the AI bubble pops, the U.S. implodes, which means MAGA will go to war with China over Taiwan, and we are all going to go up in a blaze of nuclear fire in order to protect chatbot profits. Now, isn't that a hell of a thing? Let's start with an inventory here. I'm doing some clear cutting here because this island is going to be the rail yard. There's going to be rail going across east to west, west to east, whichever one you want to put first. I don't care. I'm going to be clearing off the entire forest here, sadly, in order to put in rail yard and construction areas and so forth. This mansion is the factory and workshop for the incipient railway. Brand new world. It is the post-Frank economy, and if you get that joke, bless you. Let it be known I have never been afraid of a Hodgson. I love a good one. And if you know what a Hodgson is, bless you. So yeah, at some point I'm going to have to finish clear cutting all this. I'm not going to do it all on stream. I was doing it there to blow off some steam and give me a chance to rant. I am feeling especially ranty this morning, partly because of the shit that is going on. Partly because my morning bowl is Blue Dream. It's one of the precursors to the legendary Bay Dream that I am still questing for. I'll be going out later today to go pick up a couple of weeks' supply of berry preserves at the farmer's market from a local producer. I don't buy commercial jelly anymore. My morning peanut butter on toast is made with preserves from a local berry farm. Very, very pleased with that. You know, buying local is praxis. So, yeah, and I'm being a little hard on leaning left this morning. partly in reaction to what's going on, and I'm trying not to be a reactionary here. That's a bad thing, regardless of which side of any binary you're on. And there are some binaries we could really do without, but the one of believes in human rights, doesn't believe in human rights is real useful for separating the humans from the Nazis. And yes, I know I'm doing a Nazi thing there, doing their own bullshit to them, and it's kind of bullshit for me to do it, but I'm mad this morning, and I'm ranty. All right, before I try and do anything, let's take a second here. Purpose here. Purpose of the new series of the stream is for me to learn the new stuff and create. I have not got the hang of chain conveyors or frog ports or factory gauges, and I need to understand how they work. I intend to build a railway with some resource cartage and an industrial kitchen and so forth, much like I did in the last series, in the original series that started Minecraft Trains and Tech 80 episodes ago. That's a lot of streams, 80 episodes. I tried to do something fancy for my 200th stream, and that didn't work out so well. Overheated my system, and I will probably not do anything fancy for stream 100 unless I've got new hardware. Given the current situation, I'm not sure that's going to be happening. Shit's hitting the fan here, folks. And I'm trying to distract myself, and it's not working real well. Let me focus here. See if I can gain my focus. So, create 1.20.1, Minecraft 1.20.1, the conversion, create for it. Let's back out a little bit and show a little more of what's around me. Over here is a village. I have been placing some structures, villages, a couple of mansions, a couple of other things, because despite putting multiple structure mods into this mod pack and really thought I had them configured well, yeah, I started exploring the world. I found this mansion right off, and it's like, oh, cool, this is nice, and got a little bit of a start, a little more of a start than I wanted to abandon, and then started exploring and kept not finding anything. So yeah, I've placed a village. There's some other stuff that's naturally occurring. A village here with a waystone. Village here with a waystone. I take no responsibility for the names. Village here with no waystone. Up this way, where is it? There's another mansion up here that there should be a couple of other mansions, and here we go. There's a Savannah mansion here. I'm thinking about making the Savannah mansion the big fancy station with the promenade and the ticket windows and the whole big Union Station thing going on, because the Savannah Mansion is a pretty interpretation. It really looks, I think, very nice, very attractive. Let's see, let's just bamf over there. Yeah, here we go. I mean, imagine this as the Grand Railway Station. It's bloody gorgeous. And it's got a little bit of aerial bullshit up here. As happens. And I love how the designer set this up where you've got water, but then there's this little wisp of cloud that catches it so it doesn't go all the way down, and you can't just walk up to the stream and swim up it to the island. You got to get up here some other way. Those vines, I don't think they will grow that far. Really don't think so. So yeah, I'm thinking this as Union Station, and maybe this being the main pedestrian entrance here, because it's got the windows overlooking it, and I like coming in with that bit there. I could put like the railway offices up on the third floor, and so yeah, you've got a view of the traffic coming in and out. And then over on the other side, I'd have I'll have the actual rail, and yeah, I could very easily take this whole section of the mansion and make it the shed. Giving it, I'm spitballing here and kind of thinking about it, kind of taking notes in a way. Let's bounce back to here and get a look at what I've done so far. So, a little bit of redecorating. Went through and replaced the torches with lanterns so that it looks a little nicer. And put in some stone brick stairs so that the big stairway looks a little more like a stairway and not a pile of rock. Got a couple of furnaces set up, have done rather a lot of processing. I have no fear of going creative on one of these, but I prefer to spawn in the raw materials and just, dump some of the grind of material gathering, throw the raw ore in and go on and process from ore. So that at least I'm, doing that much of it. There's some grind I'm just going to skip. There we go. Got a Tom's going, and a lot of stuff loaded into it already. Some stuff has been made. Yes, I have made precision mechanisms. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's walk around to this side first and look at the farming that I'm doing, because this gets a little bit fun. And we're going to skip a room there and come around here. Here is my primary farm. Botany pots, elite tier botany pots, and just feeding straight into the toms so that I have all these different things continuously growing. Keeps me with a steady supply of materials, but not exactly an infinite supply. It does accumulate, but it is a finite resource, and then I have to wait for it to replenish. So there's that. Got that going with most of the stuff I've needed so far. Yeah, I let the allies loose. I haven't cleaned that out. Then I've got a few things going over here. I do love a good fermentation mod, and so I have Vintage Delight fermenting jars going, making pickled beetroot, pickled onions, and cucumber pickles. Classic pickles. Being hopper fed with veg and with the salt compound or salt dust as needed. This smoker is continuously fed charcoal and processes coffee beans. I've got the output hoppers here pulling coffee beans from the toms and charcoal as well. Haven't processed any logs in a bit into charcoal. I probably should. Coffee beans are growing over in the garden plot, and yeah, continuous coffee roasting. just steadily, this one smoker is steadily chugging along, and it's actually moving at a reasonable clip. And I've got an awful lot of roasted coffee right now. What I'm wanting to do is ship the coffee, the roasted coffee beans, by rail around to an industrial kitchen that will then use a Create mixer and make coffee by the bucket, load it into a tank car, and distribute it out to like Union Station, where it'll be available from a dispenser or something like that. I'll figure it out. I'm going to be seeing what I can do with the automat I had in the previous version of this back in the first season, in the first streams. I built a railway station underneath an airship. The airship spawned in from a structure mod. Found the airship. I built a station underneath it with a docking cradle built up to the airship. Put in a passenger elevator on one side, on the port side, and a cargo elevator on the starboard side, so that the airship could transfer passengers and cargo with the station. And then the station mezzanine had an automat, had a double vertical row of shop blocks that sold all sorts of different foods and beverages, and were auto replenished. The industrial kitchen, I had an industrial kitchen set up on the other side of the map, produced all this food, dropped it into a Create storage system, and a train came along, loaded up whatever was in the storage system, hauled it off around the map, dropped it at the railway station, where it was sorted into the inventories of all the automat shops. Fun watching the train pull up and all this food come rolling in on a conveyor belt. I have something like that in mind, but I'm going to see what I can do with the current version of Create. What I have done is mostly up on the third floor at this point, because I needed to put a turbine up on the roof. Now, I am going to walk down here first. I have a boiler going. Got a level 8 boiler going here. It is cranking away and not doing a whole heck of a lot at the moment. There is a shaft being driven here, and that goes and does something, and we'll look at that in a few minutes. And then there's the toms going through the building that you'll see here and there. I'm not going to bother hiding it. This is the factory. This is the workshop. It's going to look like it. So yeah, boiler here. Boiler here is running this little jewel, which right now isn't doing anything because it's out of flint. But what it does is it processes crushed salt, which you get from throwing limestone into the crushing wheels. Let's see. Do I have any flint? Where's my flint? I have bupkis. Give S flint 1024. Oop. And where's the chest? There it is. Okay, got to come around here to feed. Oh, shirt. Why didn't I see that when I put the cable in? Dingbat. Did I just... Well, shit. Shut that off. I gotta fix this. Give me a minute here. This ain't right. Oop. There we go. That gets the box out of there. And let's go on and fire it back up. And now it'll start. There we go. Now it's making the right thing. And we'll get that put into it. And then I need to swap the chest for a barrel. Oh. Barrel, 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 barrel. Barrel goes there, and flint goes into barrel. There we go. Solves that problem. I set this all up and then ran the cable and completely forgot that the cable would, of course, cause a problem here. You know, putting it across the top of a chest, not the greatest idea. So yeah, here we have two of the machine that goes bonk, the bonker, bonking away at the salt to crush it, and got a little bogus salt, unprocessed salt compound in there that needs to be flinted. But the flint, meanwhile, is chugging along, making this into salt. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see. Down, 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 down. Salt compound that I can then put into the picklers. So, this machine is making salt for the pickling room. Let's see. We go over this way, and I think I have... Is there a secret room here? No, I just have to walk around to the other side. Oh, let's see. Let's go up to the third floor first, since I'm right here. Okay, here's where most of the create is going on. So, the original bonker. Still being used to make metal plate. That nasty thing. Turn that sucker off. Ish. That thing is... The sawmill will do a heck of a lot, including fillet your character. Be careful around it. I do like that it is a dangerous piece of equipment. It should be. In real life, it is a dangerous piece of equipment, and in game, yes, there's a necessity to respect it. Over here, I have the 3-hand deployer set up to make precision mechanisms. Well, I had fewer parts left than I thought. Never mind. We'll continue that some other day. Over here. This. See, I got this is the rail maker. right now, I have a lot of birch train track. I want to make a lot more and turn some of it into, let's go on and get this done. Let's go and do the processing here instead of just talking about it. So I'm going to process all this birch log into plank. And yeah, this is deliberately not set up with a feed because it would draw mightily. Iron nugget. Let's make nuggets rather than extract nuggets. Oh, earworm this morning, but which is one I can actually sing because the song hit the public domain at the first of the year, a couple days ago. And my early encounter with Leon Redbone, thanks to the early seasons of Saturday Night Live, has paid off. I've always been into music my peer group found weird or lame, but then, you know, when I was getting into Leon Redbone, most of my peer group called anything lame if it wasn't some dude howling unintelligibly over a power cord. You know, there is good metal out there. The Lord, what they were listening to was just some dude howling unintelligibly over a power cord, you know. It was some bullshit. And, you know, what was cool in New York was not cool in Kentucky. You notice how much of a fuck I give about what's cool in Kentucky at this point in my life. I'm gonna load that sucker up. How many slots did I have left? 8? Good. Let's go on and load 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how that looks. Yeah, that's good enough. I'm not gonna push it any further. Alright. Let's get this started. This thing makes noises over here. It makes me nervous sometimes. What are we doing over there? Oh, we need to feed that thing. Let me feed this beast and get my brass going again. There we go. Start chunking out the brass again. Okay. Gonna need lots of brass. I've got things planned. Alright, let's flip this on. There we go. We'll start making more birch train track. I'm going to load up on this and then I need 2 more machines. One to convert it to narrow gauge and one to convert it to broad gauge. So I'm going to need a couple more machines. They obviously cannot go in this room. This room is powered by a turbine windmill on the roof. You know, the easiest thing to do here was to just stick a turbine up on the roof, bring a shaft down, bada bing, bada boom. That's going to be running for a while. Let's just leave it. That's also going to be running for a while, and I'm good with that. Automation, it's what it's about. Make all this stuff and, you know, let the machine do the tedium Once I set it up, I can go do something else while it churns out the parts I need. Off this way. Let's come around here. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, honey. Here we go. Okay, this little booger is out of lava. Let's see, we are shut off right now. I'm going to have to do the creative thing here. Let me see if I have a lava bucket. Oh, yes I do. There we go. Keep that thing put away where it is relatively safe. You know, let's not take chances with this damn thing. You'll notice that I've got the machinery in a massive basin of smooth stone. If there is a leak, I want it contained. I don't like putting machinery involving lava inside a wooden mansion. It makes me nervous. I've had a kaboom before. I had a, well, yeah, I talked about it on an earlier stream. Okay. Let's put that away. Then come out of creative, make sure that we handle this carefully. Hazardous material. Gotta contain, just in case. What I'm doing here is I'm making sturdy sheet. I have powdered obsidian in here. No, there is no toms for this. Toms is right here. I don't have a problem with manually loading some of the machinery. I'm not looking to continuously produce this. I'm looking to make enough to make it to build a railway. You know, make it in batches. Spout, bunker, and you end up with sturdy sheet. And let's just... This is coming off the boiler. Remember that shaft that went down the hall and through a wall and couldn't follow it? Well, here we are. Comes in here and you push on the push 'em and pull on the pull 'em, and the pickles go into the jar. And we end up with sturdy sheet. Sturdy sheet among other things, I can craft to make an enchanting guide. I can craft to make a fuel tank to put aboard a train so that it can carry fuel, liquid fuel. I can make a fueling tank that will put fuel into things that have fuel tanks. There's the train schedule. We've seen the utility of that before. And that is something I'm going to go on and make 4 of. There we go. I have train schedules. I have 4 of them put away toward the day that I have 4 trains. Other things I can do here. Cooking guide. This is damn useful for the automated factory kitchen. I used this in the previous season. You set up a recipe in this and give it to the robot, and the robot can do a recipe of up to 6 ingredients. as long as it's got a place to pull from. And yeah, there's a lot of it's going to be a thing. We'll get to it. I'm getting ahead of myself. Fueling tanks. Let's see. The fun stuff here, we get to deploying sturdy waffle. Well, okay. We can make sturdy waffles by applying sturdy sheets to venerable dough. More importantly, if we apply a sturdy sheet to brass casing, we get train casing. And train casing gives us a whole new set of abilities. Couplers and controls and so forth. And I have been busy. And so there are train controls and there is train casing. I'm at the point, I think, of needing to build a couple of machines to make the rails. This is going to be going for a while. It has got... oh, no, it's not going to be going... I thought it had a lot more in there. How are we doing on obsidian? On the powdered obsidian. Have I got any more? Yeah, here's a whole bunch more. Let's pull that out. And tuck that in, just in the nick of time. There we go. That gets me that much more. That will end up over here. I'm good. I'm more likely to run out of lava than obsidian. That's going. I need 2 rail modification machines, one to make narrow gauge and one to make broad gauge. And that's going to go around this side. Where I have serious power available. Okay, let's load a bit more flint. I have no idea how much of that salt compound I have. Oh, I've missed a couple of things. Let me finish cataloging the mansion and then I'll build the machinery. And the machinery that I'm going to build is going to go in here, which means I'm going to be tearing out a library. Pity that. We'll get to it. In the meantime, I need to zoom around to the back of the mansion where there is some stuff going on. Around this side, we have bees. I tried to automate the bees and it didn't work out. My initial idea didn't work, and I know how to do it. It's just going to take a large machine. I've done it before. Oh, lordy, it takes a large machine. Big deal is I brought the Tom's cable out here and put a terminal right next to the damn beacon and made sure the beacon was big enough so that my Tom's terminal doesn't cut out on me if I happen to wander more than a few blocks away. Grr. Tom's cable comes out through the foundation there and wraps around the house. And I have water wheels here that were originally put in to power the crushing wheels. I needed the power over on this side to drive the pumps that feed the boiler. And just, enough kinetic stress with all those pumps that it couldn't, these three water wheels could not run the crushing wheels as well and overstressed. And I can't have this binding up. That's got to keep going or my boiler goes pop. You know? I do not want the boiler running dry. That would be bad. So, oh, dang it, hang on a second, I have gotten some schmutz on my glasses here. On the 12th, I go in to see a retina specialist who will, among other things, evaluate me for cataract surgery. I am 63 years old as of yesterday and am accumulating doctors, and I'm not thrilled with it. I'm really not. So yeah, Tom's Cable comes out, and Tom's Cable, I set up the crushers just with a straight vertical drop, nothing no fancy conveyor belt passing through to capture anything. Let's keep it compact and efficient here. Also, a chute does not produce stress on the rotation here. Does not take up available torque. So crushing wheels right now aren't doing jack and should be shut off for general principles, safety and shit. I can feed whatever I want in there, and it just drops right back into the toms. And then at this point, there's 5 water wheels producing enough torque to keep these hopping. Thank you. Okay, that catalogs everything. I think catalogs everything I've done so far. There are, oh yeah, I put up these as sort of visual notes. I want to pick one of these off each time I build a new loco and use that particular, stone and color scheme. So we'll have, won't just have a green line, it'll have a green locomotive. See how that goes. I've not had great success designing my own locomotives before, but I'm going to give it another try. So, starting off with rail. I need rail. I need a couple of machines set up back here. Okay, time to do it. Okay, that's got the room cleared. Presto. Got power right there. Just have to take it off wherever I want to send it. Pop up here. That is rotating that direction. That's easy enough to switch over. Let's just go on and cut that and that. And how am I going to arrange my equipment? I need to think about the most convenient place to put it would be on that wall, but why don't I put the first machine on this wall? Okay, so oh, boo. Track. There we go. So, if I want to make wide birch train track, I need to take the birch train track, pass it over a sawmill, under a deployer, and a bunker. Okay, so I got three things here. This is not going to be... This is going to be a belt here. So I need this with a belt that continues on. Okay, this is going to be a little lengthy. Alright, think about this. I need shaft. I need belt. I need... Have I got a saw? Okay, I don't think I've got any of this. I'm going to have to make it. Not a problem. Alright, start with a saw. Gonna need a mechanical saw. Gonna need a deployer, which means I'm gonna make a brass hand. I've not been making large quantities of these components. Been making them as I need them. Make a mechanical press. I need... andesite funnel. Don't need the expensive brass funnel. Ooh. I'm out of andesite alloy. That's not good. Let's make a bit here. There we go. That's something I need to keep in stock. Used a lot. Oh, bugger off. Trying to think here. Alright, so where's my... Only got one andesite scaffolding, it'll have to do. Bip. Here's my feed chest. Okay. Feed goes here, goes here. Whoop! Not what I meant. Not where I meant to put it. Let's try that again, going like that, and we'll just wrench it and wrench it. There we go. That's got it placed correctly. And then we go here to here. And there's where our end chest goes. Okay, come around here. And oh shit. There we go. Damn it. Alrighty, there's that. And it's just one below there. Cut that. Cut that. Have I got no? Of course not. Of course I don't have encased chain drives in stock. There we go. We have, oops. Clear that. And this is why I didn't take the nuggets out. Ended up using them for other shit. In we go. Boom. Okay. Alrighty. Hey, Webby. How you doing? Yeah, let's see. We got encased chain drives. I need two. 1, 2. And encased chain drives go 1, 2 there. Okay. That takes care of that. I got that in place. This needs a feed. That's going to be easy enough. We'll just feed it from the side. Let's see. Alright, this I need to go on and make like 8 of them so that I have them around. So keep using them. I should keep this in stock. Wait. No. Bad. Not correct. Take. Thank you. Not correct. Must. Barrel. Here we go. Use a barrel, not a chest. Front loading. Doesn't have to be able to open. On the top. Not much about to play some Rust for a few. Cool beans. I'm setting up a machine to make wider track. I want to make broad gauge rail. So I'm going to bring that across to here. Let's see where I'm going. Okay, we'll grab that. And I need to make a clutch. Okay, we'll put this vertical gearbox here and drop the clutch on top of it. Put a lever on and disengage the clutch so that this thing does not go into action as soon as I connect it. Not cool. Okay. Don't want. Alright, I need this here. Bring this across. Oops. Shit. Grr. Gotta make more shaft. Okay. Oh. Interesting. What the heck did I just... Track factory. Oh, okay. I've produced more than 1,000 train tracks with the same mechanical press. Was tempted to swap replication in Pixel with Create. Yeah, but Create is hard on servers. I mean, it's I'm running it in single player mode here, and it's a little hard on my system. It doesn't help that I have oh, where's the full map? The Here we go. I have it chunk mapped here, and I've got FTB chunks in here, and I've got this whole factory force loaded so that my boiler doesn't explode. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, yeah, it's a thing. So better to create. You really got to put some horsepower behind. Like I looked at create and was like, yeah, maybe for a server and maybe not. Ooh, I would love to be able to do a server with create, um, and Shinjufu mod and a couple others, and do a whole Miyazaki thing. And you could really you could do the Miyazaki aesthetic in Minecraft with the right mod set. But I would want create for the steampunk technology that you see in Miyazaki's films. The Pixel server is kind of beastie. We have horsepower on the server. I need a major mod to swap replication with. Create would be a major mod. It is worth looking at here real quick what all I have on this mod pack. Let's stop and look at this before I go on any further. I've got iron furnaces because I like heavier processing. It's not powered. I can just you just do the upgrades. Create bells and whistles gives me some extra train parts, including the pilots that you saw out front that I put out there as visual bookmarks, visual notes. Biomes we've gone brewing and chewing because still want Mine Colony on Pixel. Oh God, Mine Colonies and Pixelmon. I'm not sure you can do that. I think you might hit critical mass or something. Brewing and chewing because I love a good fermentation mod, and I got a couple of them in here. I also put in Create Cheese Factory because one of the things I plan to do is an industrial kitchen. It works. Hey, if you can make it work, more power to you. So I will be producing a lot of different kinds of cheese in the factory. I will have a cheese factory going at some point. Cafe fluids. I can do all of this stuff in bulk and ship it by tank car. Create Cafe gives me all these different beverages and the ability to make coffee by the bucket. Create stuff in additions because it has some useful stuff, not the least of which is the jetpack. Got a few cool things in it. Create train editions because I'm loading up on the train stuff, but it's laggy. Too many entities. Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Farmer's Delight for the food mod rather than Pam's because Farmer's Delight is a lot more modular. I can plug in a bunch of stuff. Bunch of train stuff, the botany pots and botany pots tiers so I can simplify my factory growing. Create crafts and additions is the next thing up after I get, we have that on Pixel. Oh yeah, the Farmer's Delight, love it. You've also got, let's see, there's iron chests because iron chests. And sophisticated backpacks because quality of life, and same with all the Macaw's stuff. Create Crafts and Additions gives me the electric motor and the alternator, and then gives me wire and so forth, connectors. Yeah, I can put. I don't have to run rotational shafts everywhere. I can just string wire and then put an electric motor on the machine. It's a huge leap in terms of like Victorian technology. Yeah, except botany. Create Gourmet. Let's see. Skip on to the next set of tabs. Create Mechanical Botany. Haven't even looked at that. Just Create Central Kitchen. This Create Central Kitchen gives you the cooking guide, which allows you to set up robotic cooks, which is just an entire thing. I did back in the first season of this stream. I did an industrial kitchen with the cooking robots, and it's a thing. It is such a thing. Create garnished because garnished. Create connected because connected. Power load. Let's see, various things. Anything special here? Tom's because Tom's. Create the factory must grow, which will give me a lot of stuff, including oil processing. Gives me a whole bunch of stuff. I added the steam and rails tracks so that I have the broad gauge and narrow gauge track. And the palettes so that I have lots and lots of bits and pieces to make trains from. And then, oh yeah, Vintage Delight. Vintage Delight gives you fermentation jars. And fermenting jars will make some neat stuff. Suddenly you're making surströmming and pickled peppers and kimchi and all sorts of fun things. Overnight oats. And this is where the chef hats come from, is this Vintage Delight. The chef hats are in Vintage Delight, and I don't know if I've... Yeah, let me hop over to the survival inventory so you can see that, yes, my character is in fact wearing a black chef hat. Of course I'm wearing a black... I have a chef hat. All right. So yeah, quick survey of the mods. That's a mod I'm missing is Waystones. Oh yeah, Waystones is a useful one. Most of what's in here is create and Farmer's Delight stuff so that I can do the automated kitchen and food distribution and so forth. All right, so I need to finish setting this up. That goes, I need something that's going to connect here and drive this. Really want to drive it from this side. So, I'm going to put a couple of shafts going here, from this to here. I'm going to take that off. Give me a second here. Put that back on and swap out for cogs. There we go. And it'll even look cool. And that keeps it down. The parts count down. That's 4 cogs. That's 1 gearbox's worth of cogs. So, yeah, that would have taken multiple gearboxes. There we go. That should... Let's come around here before I load anything in and make sure it's going the correct direction. It is going the correct direction, but it's not... Oh, I forgot to put the damn cogs in there, didn't I? Shit fire. Okay. Not a problem. Bust that and go Cog, cog, cog. Oh, good. Everything's going the correct direction. Phew. Always the question. Oh, shit. I'm still in creative. Thanks. Thanks for spotting that. Thanks for spotting that. Dang. Yeah, that would have been a problem in a minute here. Thanks. Ooh. Yeah, not what I meant to do. Preferring to use up the parts here. All right, got that done. I need... All right, to do this... To do wide birch train track, I need to give it slabs. So, let's call this up, clear that, and... Have some birch slab. Okay. And shut that off a second here while I'm loading in. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There we go. Boom. I'll do that much. Okay. Launch. Wide birch train track being produced. Ha! I have broad gauge rail. Hail Brunel. And if you don't know who Isambard Kingdom Brunel was, go look him up. There is a wonderful book called The Intemperate Engineer about Isambard Kingdom Brunel in his own words. Brunel was, yeah, he was a bit much. He was sometimes a bit much, but, you know, the guy was not afraid to get his hands dirty. There was one particular instance that he was known for. This is going to be the narrow gauge over here. And that has the same machine, just deploying a zinc or iron nugget instead of, okay, we just need to build the same machine going the other direction. Cool beans. I want to go make some more andesite scaffolding because I don't like having that empty spot there. Let's go downstairs first. One particular instance when Brunel was when the ship the Great Eastern was being built. Brunel designed the Great Eastern, which became the first cable-laying ship, laid the transatlantic telegraph cable. And during a press walkthrough, Brunel noticed a worker not doing it right. Walked over, ignored the man's supervisor, walked over to the guy and said, no, you need to do it this way. And the guy looked a little puzzled, and Brunel handed his hat and coat to his assistant, rolled up his sleeves, took the tool away from the guy, and said, like this, showed him how to do it, grabbed a shop rag, cleaned the grease off his hands, and went on with the press tour. Now, it may have been set up. Some people said it was, but those who knew Brunel said, no, that's just Brunel being Brunel. we know this guy. That's Yes, he is the kind of guy who would walk off a press tour to go correct an engineering problem. Harlan Sanders famously did that once. Word got around about that one, and in any of his restaurants that were a little loose tightened their ship real fucking fast. What happened was Harlan Sanders, the guy who founded Kentucky Fried Chicken, and when I was a child, I met him. It was an interesting situation. Yeah, I met Colonel Sanders as a child. He was still around, and yeah, he was on his way from some charity event or other. How far apart did I put these? Okay, I only need it four to cover a 4 block span. There's only only two devices. All right, we're good. There we go. He was on his way from some charity event or other in a limo with a couple of reporters, and they passed a KFC, and one of the reporters made a comment about it being a particularly bad one. Sanders told the driver, turn the car around, walked in and did a surprise inspection with the press in tow, was absolutely livid over what he found. They were not following his recipes, were not following his techniques. No wonder it was bad. Let a couple of people go. Yeah. Let me see your manager. You don't have a manager anymore. Boom. Let a couple people go over it and things got tightened up real fast. Word got around that Harlan Sanders could and did still get his hands into the business, and yeah, nobody wanted that happening again. Hey, it actually went in the right direction that time. Hurrah! Brunel. Hey, got a new follower. Cool Beans. Welcome to Tuvi Alpha. How you doing? Let's see. I am in the middle of doing a thing here where I was putting in a deployer. I need to put in a deployer, which of course I'm looking in the wrong place. There we go. Let's look where I can actually make a deployer. Had to make a brass hand first. Brunel is not a hero of mine. He was an asshole. But he was an asshole who was usually right. I can understand being socially awkward. Try to give him some leeway for that. Let's see. I need a mechanical press. Keep being in my inventory instead of in the toms, and it's not going to work. There we go. There's that. Okay, I need a pair of funnels. Funnel. Oops, damn it. There we go. Okay. Hopper. Hopper, go there. I need to keep these down. I'm using so many of them. I should keep them in inventory, in active inventory, and I need to get rid of the paint kit. Lord, I don't remember the last time I used a paint kit. I like the look in a factory. I like the look of the framed cable. I think it looks cool. Okay, is that everything? Alright, I need to start putting in the drive system on this. This one's going to go on the front so it doesn't go hanging out the window. So first, I need a couple of encased chain drives. Make 2 encased chain drives and plop them on there so that those are powered from the same source. Gonna do basically the same thing I did. It's just gonna be out in the open. And we'll just put this out to here. And that brings that even with that. And then we put cogs on. I'll be there with cogs on. Doesn't quite work. Can't, the idiom breaks down. Okay, there we go. That'll drive that. Over here, I need to hook this up to that. Now, there's a really short way to do this. But if I do, I can't. If I do it that way, I can't put a clutch on it. I need a clutch on it. I can put a clutch on it and still do it that way. Okay, I see what I'm going to do here. CLU. Gotta think about the path of rotation. Now, does it travel the correct direction? It does. I don't have gears on there. Okay, there's my problem. Same problem I had last time. Oh, look at that. The conveyor belt caught it. Ha! Okay. Isn't that darling? Okay. Cog here, cog here, cog there. Okay, there we are. We are going. Okay, let's stop. And get the stuff loaded in here. Now this time, what I need to load in to get narrow gauge birch, I need nuggets. So let's see what I got here. Let's go to iron and make nuggets. And load them in. Okay. And then come over here. And here's my birch track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can do 8 so far to start with. And go. Why isn't it going? What's wrong? Something's not right. Stop, 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 stop. It's cutting it, and it's not deploying. Why isn't it deploying? Something's not right here. Something's very not right here. It's making wide. Why is it making wide? Narrow birch. Cut with so. Oh, damn. Don't do tracks, do feed it birch slab. Okay, read the recipe, you fool. Jeez. Read the recipe. I have no excuse. Read the damn manual. Alright, this is all garbage here, and I'm going to have to just dispose of it. I'm going to flip creative here and just trash it. This is all crap here at this point. Come here. Get you off of there. That's garbaged. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Ugh. There we go. Alright, alright, alright. Grrr. Alright, we'll get it fixed. I'll get it fixed. Just a matter of doing the cleanup. Person who got me into streaming said that biffing it on live is part of streaming. Well, here we go. Give me a minute to clean up my mess. There we go. Alrighty, and put that away, and yeah. Okay, make birch slab. There we go. Load that in over here. Check the recipe. Birch slab to cutter to nugget to and should get. Okay, let's see how if this does it. Yeah, it's stomping. There we go. Alrighty. Narrow birch train track. Got narrow gauge track coming in. Fuck yes. Alright, about bloody time. Just huck that in and I'll deal with it later. Screw it. Okay. Rail is being made. Let's head out front and start leveling and looking at our first rail line here. Okay, this is going to be grade here. Boop. Ah, I forgot to take it down a notch, a couple of blocks here. Okay. Pause to, let's see, 3760, comma, 68, comma, minus 5841, Voop, Vip, there. Now, there we go. That gets leveled. Okay. Let's get this leveled here. Makes no difference how I carry on. Oh, honey, please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, shit. That's not it either. I'm gonna have to fix this. Damn it. I'm not doing well on this. Let's just undo back to here. There we go. All right. Not being good at this. All right. Let's hit it there. And then hit it like here. And try a replace dirt air. Aha. Rest block air. Oof. I could have used existing, but, you know, I had to be fancy about it. Okay, that's got that dealt with. Let's do a little clearing here. How do I keep leaving myself in effing creative? Some new stuff hit the public domain this January 1st, and please don't talk about me when I'm gone is one of them. I learned it from listening to Leon Redbone on Saturday Night Live when the cool kids were listening to really bad hair metal. I grew up in a very redneck area, and let's just leave it at that. It shows at times. I try not to let it, though. Alrighty. For our first track, I'm just going to go right here. down to the end here. And let's just put it right across here. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Ba-da-dum. There we go. There is our standard gauge rail. Edge to edge. Alrighty. Let's go in and retrieve some of the other stuff here. See what time it is. If you can't say anything real nice, it's better not to talk at all. That's my advice. Okay, pull that. And push most of this into the toms. Pull that. So 3 stacks of both. Factory is making tracks. Hopefully I can catch up to it. Which is a variant on the old "is your refrigerator running" joke. Well, you'd better catch it, hadn't you? Look at this. Wide broad gauge rail. Probably should have spaced that over more. Let's see if I can do anything with that. No, I'm going to have to actually pick it up here. Alright. There's not an auto pickup on it, is there? That's okay. My backpack has auto pickup. Let's move that over. Put it like, yeah, put it here. Get me some little more room here. I have a feeling this is going to be a big train. And then the far side of it, is a kiss. I hope that this brings lots of luck to you. Oh, honey, makes no difference how I carry on. Oh, darling, please don't talk about me when I'm gone. There we go. And I have narrow gauge. Hot diggity fuck. There we go. There are reasons for each rail gauge. Standard rail gauge is the classic horse's ass width. Look it up. It's the width of the cart wheels needed for the spacing for a horse to walk between them. So the distance from rail to rail is the width of the average horse's ass. Broad gauge gives you a much stabler ride, a much smoother ride, gives you greater loading capacity, does all sorts of great things for you, but it is more materials intensive, and as you can see, it takes up a lot more room. Brunel did his best to introduce broad gauge to Britain. Didn't go real well. The standard gauge got adopted, which is not the best for a lot of things. Not the best for the application, but it was what got adopted. When I wrote the 1879 role-playing game and wrote the alternate history for it, Brunel was successful, and the British Empire runs on broad gauge. Narrow gauge was developed originally in the Welsh Mountains and is still common there. Was used heavily for mining, for getting coal down from the mountains and miners up to the mountains and supplies back and forth. Narrow gauge is also really useful for when you've got a tight space. There is a famous rail line in India that is on my bucket list. The Darjeeling narrow gauge goes from the city of Darjeeling up into the mountains to a resort town that was originally built by the British during the Raj period. Bear in mind, I am not celebrating the Raj in by any means. There was a horrible, it was an atrocity. The British Empire committed many atrocities. The Raj was one of them. The British never didn't adapt well to the Indian climate, and so they would spend the winter down in the city in the lowlands. But when the summer heat rolled around, they'd all board the narrow gauge railway and ride it up into the mountains and spend the hot months up in the mountains. And every 6 months, Darjeeling's British population relocated. This was understandable. I mean, people have been doing seasonal migration since pretty much there have been people and, settlements of any sort ever since we started, pitching a tent. Seasonal migration is a thing. I just want to ride the narrow gauge railway. It's a marvel of engineering. It was done mostly by Indian workers and engineers. The British took the credit for it, as they tended to do so. The view from the Darjeeling Railway is absolutely spectacular. I've seen videos and photos, and I want to see it live so badly. So yeah, narrow gauge for tight spots, and broad gauge for long runs, and standard gauge for when I need to. Now I get to start designing locomotives, putting together materials for that, figuring that out, get the railway going. Once I can get the railway going, there are so many villages and places that I want to bring rail to. Let's see, here's this one. Where is this? Where is? Where the hell did I end up? Oh, Jungle Mansion. Naturally occurring, I think. I have gone way off course here. This is not where I wanted to be. That's a village I found when I was doing early exploration. I want to be here. There we go. And wait for the teleport. kick in. Ha! Okay, we have a Badlands village here. Neat place. Kind of an interesting place. Got a shop here. Some dude selling a variety of uncraftable potions and water bottles. Our butcher here is currently buying meat. There's our waystone, and out past this is the reason for the village. There is a monument here. So yeah, the village is here because there's a temple out here or something. What exactly is in here remains to be seen. But, yeah, I mean, you can tell it's a religious institution by the ostentatious display of gold. Oh, here we go. Here's our central area already, and done very nicely in glazed terracotta and raw gold. And let's not make any mistakes about it here. So yeah, I want to bring rail up to here. And maybe set up, like, I don't know, a pilgrim station or way station or something. So, you know, I could set up a whole complex out in front of the temple gates where there's a stall to leave your shoes and a place to wash before you go in and so forth. And, you know, villagers selling flower garlands and incense and candles and whatever. Be easy enough to do. And that would get me something up in this quadrant out past these villages to bring the rail to. Oh, right, I don't have a homestead. I'm using the zeros and waystone zeros, waypoints, and waystones. Okay, this is, well, I think I'm getting to the point of needing to start thinking about locomotives. I've got the basic rail stuff going. I need to get a railway going in order to get rail over to the industrial kitchen. Oh, one other thing I want to do is put in an elevator. There is going, yeah, I've got this. I need electrical power, and I need to decide where I'm going to put my elevator. But there is going to be an elevator in somewhere in this building, possibly around here. It would make sense to put it there, wouldn't it? Can I put it there? I want a brass cage elevator in this building. I've got the material, the stuff to do it. I just have to build it. I'm thinking I want it like here at the back of the lobby, you know. You come in, you go past the stairs, and there's the elevator. If I put it here, what am I borking? What's the room on the other side of this? Let's find out. Well, it's not that, it's that. What's in there? Oh, it's this. Oh, well, if I tear this out to put in an elevator, I'm good with that. Holy crap, yes, absolutely. Let's, you know, pop this bullshit right on out. Absolutely fine with that. I was meaning to tear this garbage out anyway. Yeah. I can put it here. Now, what's directly above me is important. I'm going to go on and cut here. Oh, damn it. Over-enthusiastic acts is over-enthusiastic. There. Cut there, and then if I go straight up, what am I cutting into? Oh, this will never be missed. Jeez, I gotta be careful with this thing. Yeah, this will never be missed. Okay. Yeah. Put an elevator there. Is there a third floor on top of this? That's important. Hope the hell there is, otherwise I've got a problem. Nope, I'm going up into here. All right, I'm going to have to build it out. There's going to be new wall here. I got to build new wall here and an enclosure, and then put the elevator machinery up on top of it. This is going to be a long-term project. Going to be a heavy project. Going to take a little while. But I know where it's going, and I've got it started. So, that brings me up to close enough to the top of the hour that I feel just fine in going on and closing out here. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to have folks drop by. If you have enjoyed this stream, there are 79 previous episodes on YouTube at the URL in your lower right, including a long run with Immersive Geology and a previous run with Create Trains. The streaming schedule in the upper left corner includes a bunch of other fine folks who do horror and platformers and first-person shooters and all sorts of other stuff. Big, busy schedule. Check it out. I will be back next Saturday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 8 a.m. Pacific time, with more Minecraft trains and tech. Before then, however, I will be back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific time with Roots of Pacha, which is a cozy farm sim, dating sim in the genre of Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon and all those wonderful farming sim games that have gotten me through the years when I did not have actual dirt to work. Yeah, I'm a frustrated farmer. What can I say? There's a long story. I actually had a farm at one point. Don't now. But that's neither here nor there. I'm trying to close out. I will be back tomorrow night for Roots of Pacha, next Saturday morning, Minecraft Trains and Tech. Thank you so